Hello, my name is Francis Fox. Um, I am a trained psychic. I was in a secret program. It still hasn't been declassified by the US government. I am half Cuban and half German. My mother was German, but I was separated from him when I was a child. Interesting combination. The Cuban part of me keeps me very chatty. The German part of me keeps me able to handle an awful lot of information and create order. So, what am I doing here? I'm not a professional astrologer, but I'm also not a doctor or a uh, specialist in things, but I have the ability to acquire the information, the missing information, the stuff that you need, or the stuff that's more important that you know. I'm an information specialist. So, what am I doing now? I'm doing the horoscopes using my remote viewing skills. But I'm using a filter today. I want to know how your resonance, your frequency is now. We have an eclipse between the 7th and the 8th of September, and that eclipse is like a line in the sand, a before and an after the eclipse. Within 8 weeks after the eclipse, your country, your company is going to know whether you made the grade, if that's how you say it, whether you qualified, whether your ascension process is not blocked, whether you're in tune with the golden age. So, this is a very important time, and the issue has to do with the weight of your aura, literal weight, heaviness of your aura. You have a low frequency when your aura is really heavy, and you have a high frequency when your aura is light. What makes a difference? Accumulation of astral particles of emotions. The movie Star Wars, Darth Vader almost sold us totally to the dark side. He was light. He was a Jedi Master, I believe, but his mother died. And he got very angry. And then his wife got sick, and he was even more angry. And his emotional reaction was never purified. And he was selling us to the dark, unresolved emotional issues from childhood. Basically, that's the bottom line with the ascension process. Sometimes it's a bottom line in business, certainly a bottom line in human relationships. So, what is your resonance? I'm not going to tell you about your traumas, there's not enough time here. But I can maybe give you some hints on what you can work on as quickly as you can, because this is the 31st of August. The eclipse is between the 7th and the 8th. One of the good news is that the eclipse, you're not going to be able to see it from the United States. Oh, darn. No. The places where you can really see an eclipse is the places where the eclipse feels that that part of the world needs to be trashed in order for people to go, oh my God, how did this happen and what do we need to do? So the fact that we're not getting it, we're one of the few places on the planet that is not going to be able to see the eclipse, is very good news. We don't know how the eclipse is going to affect your life, but let's see in terms of what your astrological sign is. So we're going to start with Aries as usual, as if I was a professional astrologer, which I'm not. If you put a gun to my head, as I always say, and said, you have to read my chart, or I would go, you know what, pull the trigger. I can't read a chart. I look at it and I get all confused. But we get a lot of good feedback on the horoscope, the weekly horoscopes, helping people with their, which is with their daily lives with more simple things, but that are very important. Okay, we're starting with Aries. Aries is a male sign, and its element is fire, which means there would be a lot of tendencies, especially now, anger, frustration, everybody's so dumb, trying to do things too quickly. That's when you have excess fire. So Aries, what's your resonance now? Your resonance is not bad, and your center of your system, of your body and your chakras, has pretty good colors. Pretty good colors. You seem less anxious and jumpy than usual. I'm going to say you're doing pretty good. Is there a recommendation? Sometimes you can't stand anybody. And so the mantra, even though I hate everything and everybody, I love and accept myself, it's a type of like the confession from the Catholic Church where you confess to something, but you're still going to love yourself even though you did this god awful thing. And in this case, for Aries, it's hating everybody and everything. So do that mantra. It's repeated in silence. It gives almost instant relief. So let's go on to the next sign, which is Taurus. Taurus is a female sign controlled by the element of earth. Taurus, your colors are not bad. You're aligned with movement for the ascension process. For when people say something big is going to happen, one of the big things is the ascension process, where the planet basically is going to divide into two groups of people. And in the Bible, I think it's where they say dividing the people between the wheat and the chaff. The chaff gets left behind and the wheat gets liberated. God sees two women at the well. He lifts one up and the other one stays. Basically, that the cutoff line is like the seventh, eighth, this eclipse. 8 weeks later, you'll know which side of the line you ended up in, but you can still make it. But you got to get the weight of your aura, which I describe as a garbage bag where you're carrying stuff. And that even if the psychologist thinks you already finished with that because you talked about it a lot, talking does not remove it from your aura. It just makes your head understand that's your mental body. It's your astral emotional body that's your spirit that needs to be less weighed down. So, Taurus, your colors are not bad. You're still hanging outside your front door. You already made a decision. You're going to do it. You walked out. You put the key in the door. You locked it. Why are you not moving towards what you want? Maybe you're scared. The most frightened of all the astrological signs are Tauruses. So why don't you do this mantra? Even though I'm afraid, I love and accept myself. Your colors are not bad. Your colors kind of look good. On to the next sign, which is Gemini. Taurus is Melania Trump. Um, Things are looking good for her. This whole thing with Vanity Fair magazine cover, I don't know what the final whatever is, but it's interesting how people's politics play out in many different ways. So we're going with Gemini, which is a male sign and an air sign. Gemini, you got a lot going on, but you have a lot of gold vectors coming off of your system, of your assemblage of bodies. So I would say you're doing really well. And you're not all over, you have a lot going on, but you're not like all over the place. Like you're totally distracted ADD. So I'm going to say, Gemini, that you're nicely aligned with this eclipse. President Trump is a Gemini. This is good. Okay, Cancer is the next sign. Cancer is a female sign and it's a water sign. Water is emotions. You look a lot like Gemini. Not as good. Gemini looks good. Those vectors, Elon Musk talks about those. He says that when you have a company, everybody has to have the vectors pointed in the same direction. Um, so Cancer, you don't look as good as Gemini, but you look good. You got good colors. Um, I would say maybe you should probably make a decision, Cancer, as the one thing that's the most important, and maybe vitalize that a little bit more with mantras. But I think you're in a good place, Cancer. I think you're in a good place. But Cancers are supposed to be in a good place because Cancers are carrying a lot of really good karma from all the other incarnations in which they sacrifice themselves for other people. Da, 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 da. Cancers are the mother of the zodiac. Elon Musk is Cancer. I'm Cancer. Colombia, the country, is Cancer. Okay, next. Leo is a male sign and it's a fire sign. Leo does not look so good. Leo is still like all over the place. Leo has been struggling for a long time with too much fire, too angry at too many people, pointing the finger at everybody. When you become a master, it's when you have a problem. and you ask this question. And the question is, why do I need this problem? And you can say, I don't need this problem. Yes, you do, because you wouldn't have the problem if you didn't need it, because that's one of a metaphysical law. So when you reach the point where you understand that and you have a problem, and you could go, okay, why do I need this problem? Okay. And then you go ahead and take care of the thing that triggered a law that sends you a problem because you need to resolve this issue, but you're not resolving it. So a problem comes up, and then you go, okay, I need to take care of this. So, Leo, you're all over the place, but you're not totally full of fire. You're a fire sign, and that's good. You've been able to pull back that rage at everybody and blaming everybody. But I would continue, not even sure. You have more depression, which is not fire. So I would say you need more contact with nature, with earth, parks, mountains, and with water, beaches, rivers. I would say you need more contact with those two elements, and this will soothe out. You're in the process of soothing out things. I would just like for you to soothe them out and be when the separation of the wheat and the chaff is the way it's pronounced, chaff, that you be the wheat and not what. Okay, so I would work diligently because you're not pointed in a direction, you're recycling in one place. I think that most Leos are going to hear me that statement. You're not pointed in a direction, you're recycling in one place, and I think they're going to go, that makes sense. So figure it out. But don't dilly dally. Next sign is Virgo. Virgo, not good. Not good. Earth sign, female sign, not good, not good, not good. Mexico's Virgo. The new president of Venezuela, as soon as the dictator gets moseys out, is Virgo. There's red lines coming in, which could indicate black magic. Um, Lots of confusion. Virgo, not good. The first thing I would do would be to pay somebody to clear you of black magic. You don't seem to be going anyplace. You're just recycling bad energy, and you're getting sent bad energy, and you're just buckling under due to the bad energy. So I would do a mantra that includes the word, please God, help me with my intention to miraculously resolve my issues. Because you're not going to be able to do this on your own. It's too much. And there's too much going on in the other dimensions. So you add that to your own personal stuff. And it's not easy. So you're going through very difficult times. Virgo, in terms of what the planets are sending you. Okay. The next sign is Libra, which is an air sign and it's a male sign. You don't look bad, Libra. And it looks to me like you're not paying so much attention to 20,000 different things. Seems to me like you're more focused on yourself, your stuff. And this is very good because air signs tend to be like all over the place. And I'm not seeing that, Libra. So I would say whatever you're doing, whatever process you're in, you're kind of in a good place. Now, the vice president, duly elected of Venezuela, is Libra. Um, so that's a very good thing for Venezuela. Kamala Harris is Libra. She's starting a book tour now. She did get her bodyguards, her Secret Service detail removed, starting I think on Monday. But Libras look okay. They look okay. Their resonance looks okay. The next sign is Scorpio. Scorpio is a female sign and it's a water sign. Scorpios are the gods of karma. Your karma, not theirs. What does that mean? They will trigger you right and left. And if you have not paid attention to something and you keep blaming other people and you have a Scorpio in your life, they're going to put that in your face. But they're not going to tell you. They're going to do something and you're going to fall flat in your face and go, what the hell is this? Oh my God, did you just see what Scorpio did? So, but now we have to talk about Scorpio, not what Scorpio did to you. Okay, so Scorpio, you got a bat in your hand. I always see you in a place and you've got a suitcase ready. You want to leave, you want to leave, you want to leave, and you don't leave, and you want to leave, and you want to leave. Now you got a bat in your hand and you're going for the door. And there are people that want to stop you. And you don't actually care if you don't retrieve your suitcase to take it with you. You're gonna get out that door. So I would suggest that if you have a Scorpio in your life, do not stand between the Scorpio and the doorway because you are going to get run over. They're not waiting anymore. That's it. It's over. Not for Scorpio. It's over for everybody around Scorpio who maybe tried to corner them through guilt or through whatever to stay in a place they don't want to be. So congratulations, Scorpio. Don't put down the bat. Planet of free will, why don't you start to exercise it for yourself? Okay. The next sign is Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a male sign and it's a fire sign. No, even when I did the horoscopes in Spanish, it was the same thing. Sagittarius is inside a box, but not a coffin, a square box that you don't put a human being in. You have to fold them up to put them in there. That's where Sag is now. Now, the dictator in Venezuela is a Sag. His group has not wanted him to leave Venezuela. Boxed him in. Is that what that means for him? But in case you're up to snuff having to do with my research and my discovery process, all of which has to do with stuff that helps you on a daily basis, there is a type of black magic that I just recently found out about, where they take and they do black magic on your coccyx, which is your tailbone, and they tie it in some kind of ritual ceremony to a tree that's big with big roots. So it's usually done out of this country. The person can be any place, and then the ritual is done having to do with tying that person either to stabilize them. So a lot of people, I'm sure Fidel Castro had that done because nobody could take him down. A lot of my enemies had that done. That's how I discovered it. You couldn't take him down. But the dictator in Venezuela has wanted to leave, and we've seen it, and the people in Venezuela know that. And the group didn't want him to leave. So a couple days ago, and I probably shouldn't have said it, but I did, so I'll repeat it. His group did black magic on him and tied his coccyx to Venezuela. And that is a ritual that I would assume that the minimum that you would pay for that ritual is like $20,000. That is a very heavy duty ritual. They did it to him, and I believe it was his people. It was his people for him not to leave. So the whole world, why doesn't he leave? Let's bring those big boats. What are they? Destroyers? I have no idea what they're called. We're going to smoke him out or take him out. The guy wants to leave. Black magic again, creating issues because we are spiritually unsophisticated. And there is like zero chance of me being wrong in what I just said about the dictator. Zero chance. So we have moved in Spanish, medio mundo, to threaten for him to leave. And he can't because of black magic. This being spiritually unsophisticated is very expensive. And the people that are spiritually unsophisticated look very dumb to the people that are spiritually sophisticated. Plus, the people that are spiritually sophisticated can run circles around them. And this country, the United States, is not spiritually sophisticated, and it's why it has been controlled by mind control by people that are spiritually sophisticated. Oh, no, but if you're spiritual, you're good. No, sir. What is your intention? How are you going to use that knowledge? That's what determines. Anyway, it makes me angry. It's crazy. You got all this military activity, but what is creating the I'm not moving from here looking like dictator is not accurate. They could not take down Castro. And I am actually going to check, but I know he has to have had several of those rituals done. They couldn't take him down. Anyway, I got off into politics. Excuse me. I actually got off into something that's important. We needed to get up to speed in terms of metaphysics, and we need to become spiritually sophisticated, and everything is going to be easier. We're going to be horrified, but it's going to be easier and more effective. So, on to the next sign, Capricorn, which is a female sign and an earth sign. Um, it's an interesting image. Capricorn is on his property, outside, not in the house. And there's something between him and it's either a helicopter or it's a spaceship. And he's climbing up this ladder and he's got binoculars. And Capricorn is looking and is finding people, feels like his enemies, people that are trying to hide. And he's sending the message, they're leaving now, they're coming in, dot, dot, dot. That's what I see for Capricorn. Now, how could that possibly apply to your life if you're not in intelligence or whatever? I have no idea. But I have to give you what I get. And I find that many people say, God, you're so accurate. How could it be that all the Capricorns would be doing that? I have no idea. That's my reading. And I'm not reading a Capricorn. I'm reading the energies that I am getting from my co-workers, masters. And by the way, something about the masters. Stop honoring the masters and start working with them. Stop with, oh, my masters. Oh, I wonder who my masters are. Oh, no. Listen to them and start working with them. It's your team. Spiritually unsophisticated. Let me continue. Aquarius. Aquarius is a male sign and an air sign. And Aquariuses do not look good. I see head, arms, legs, and then the torso completely wrapped up in black. Massive depression. They're inside their house, their apartment, like this. Aquarius do not pay enough attention to emotions. Your spirit is your emotional astral body. Your astral body is your spirit, the one that doesn't die when your physical body dies. Most people don't know that. And very intellectual people think that the emotions are like, hey, come on, why are people so dramatic? It's your spirit that ascends. It's your spirit that gets freed when your physical body dies. So I think maybe we should pay more attention to emotions, which is what I do and what I teach. Anyway, Aquarius are not in a good place. So why don't you, Aquarius, do a mantra. Even though I want to die, I love and accept myself, because that's the way you feel. Okay? Start dealing with your emotions. Start being emotionally honest, and you won't ever end up in this place again. The last sign is Pisces. Let me say something. I think the reason I got irritated is because I'm looking at what's going on in Venezuela. That could be so much smoother process. And I just diagnosed it, I think it was yesterday. I probably should have seen it before, but I just discovered the importance of your tailbone in the deepest and darkest black magic. I just discovered that within the last month. So I'm running as fast as I can to get this information. But when I see the whole military setup and people talking all sorts of stuff, and I see what's really going on, which is the poor guy has wanted to leave for at least 6 months. And now I finally can take my vision enough down into the underworld to see that he can't leave because somebody knows about that level of black magic, totally eliminating people's free will. His free will is eliminated, controlled. Who knows how many millions of dollars is being spent with all these big boats, whatever? Anyway, I think it makes me cranky. This feeling that spirituality is just about good intention people and good, and that spirits don't exist, except all of your religions know that they do. They just don't talk to you about it because you don't really like it. Scientology sells this much of what I teach you for free. They sell it for tens of thousands of dollars, told to me by some guy that used to be pretty high in Scientology. He was laughing about a videotape from years ago that I was selling for $17.99. And he was laughing at it. And I said, "Why are you laughing at my video?" He said, "Because you're selling for $17.99, but they sell for several $100,000 in Scientology. But it's about spirits." Oh no, only people that work with spirits work with the devil. Mm-hmm. Okay, go ahead. Continue in that path. Last sign, Pisces. The most evolved of all of them. Pisces, same image as when I did it in Spanish. Pisces has a submachine gun, but not like this. Pisces, when they walk around and they're guarding things and they put it kind of like on their hip and they're holding it like this, Pisces is inside their house, but they have the submachine gun on their hip and they're walking around and they're doing papers and they do, but they're not letting go of the submachine gun. What do we need to know about Pisces? Don't mess with the Pisces right now, because it's gonna get really ugly. Are they right? Are they wrong? I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is the Pisces attitude. Normally, you can walk over a Pisces. Normally, you can pull the wool over Pisces' eyes because they don't want to see stuff. But that is not the case today. So be careful with Pisces. Be very careful with Pisces. So that's it. And we have interesting news about the portal in the Pacific. Remember the earthquake in Alaska, Russia, and the potential tsunamis. And then when we were clearing the force of the tsunamis and we saw that we had achieved it, we said, we don't think, my group, applying metaphysics to natural disasters, the scientists said afterwards, the tsunamis were not what we thought they would be. No, because we were able to stop it with the elements. So last week, I sketched the United States, and there was this vibration, like when you drop a pebble in water, and then there's the ripple effect in California. And I went, wait a second. And so I got the map of the Pacific with, Russia, Alaska, the United States. And it was coming from the portal. But inserted into the portal was a vector from supermassive black hole Sagittarius. And the last time that happened on planet Earth was December 21st, 2012. And the consequence in the other dimensions was such that 5,000 years prior, the Mayans said that date, December 21, 2012, the vibration of the planet, or the world as we knew it, was going to end. And there would be a need for a new calendar. And everybody that day said nothing happened, nothing happened. It did. In the other dimensions, the world that we knew no longer exists. We were looking at it like this, like I'm born and then I live 90 years. The Mayans had calendars that were 26,000 years. So different perspective. Anyway, we were able to clear most of that. And the vector from Sagittarius, massive black hole, however you say it, is no longer there. So we're very pleased with ourselves. And that's applied metaphysics having to do with catastrophes. We all need to learn this. Catastrophes in your home, catastrophes on the planet. Anyway, I'm Frances Fox, and thank you for joining us. Okay?